The disrespect is real. Today we discuss where Georgia Tech ranks according to ESPN FPI. Was it a fair rating? I'm going to say, hell no. Let's talk about it. What's going on, y'all, man? Welcome back to another episode. Appreciate you guys tuning in, man. Y'all know what to do. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hype up the video. You know what I'm saying? And make sure you share with a friend, man, and join and become a member today. Everything is linked down below. But today we are talking about Georgia Tech and where they rank in the ESPN FPI. And I'm not going to lie to y'all. Georgia Tech's low-key been slept on the entire offseason, the entire summer. We know next week is media days for Georgia Tech, and they will go on Thursday. But pretty much, man, they've been slept on the entire time throughout the offseason. Basically, they've been projected to win I think it's less than 7 games. You know, they also have been very underrated in terms of coaches, where Brent Key is rated. He wasn't even in the top 25. I think that's a little bit disrespectful. Alberto Mendoza is like 15th ranked in the ACC when it comes to quarterbacks, which is kind of crazy, right? And even Justice Haynes has been slept on a little bit, right? Some rankings, like ESPN, I think has him higher, but even on some of them, he didn't even crack the top 10. So we're seeing a team, and I know they see this type of stuff. I think they're going to use this as fuel, right? And there's more fuel added to the fire today with the latest ESPN FPI rankings, right? Now, these are computer-generated rankings that goes based off of scheduling and all that stuff. And what I will say for Georgia Tech, they play a lot of tough teams this year. 11 Power 4 opponents. Obviously, some are not going to be in this top 25 or top 30, whatever it is. But you do have, a team that's in there in Tennessee. They're ranked number 16. They're in that conversation, right? Georgia's highly ranked as well, right? That's another team that's obviously on the schedule. You know what I'm saying? Clemson is highly ranked on there too in the top 25. They're also another team on the schedule. So to see where their ranking is a little bit perplexing, but we're going to discuss it a little bit more and show you what they have and how they have them coming out. And remember, this is no new story for Georgia Tech, right? Georgia Tech has seen this before. Last year they weren't ranked up high. Last year, no people like their chances didn't improve until they started winning. Right when they went undefeated, they went 8-0. That is when people started to stop sleeping on Georgia Tech and started to wake up about what they could do and what they could become. Right, so they're gonna have to do the same thing, unfortunately, this year. Right, new offensive coordinator in George Godsey, new defensive coordinator in Jason Seymour. We talked about that. New assistant coaches as well, bigger recruiting staff. But I feel like a team that has assembled a really good roster that will compete. But the ranking and how it goes, they basically have them winning, or basically have them at number 48, right? That is 10th best in the ACC. I just want you guys to see that, right? 10th best in the ACC. And what's perplexing is teams that are ranked higher is like Florida State. How? How when Florida State has so much debt, right, when it comes to the athletics program? This is a team that started off hot last year and completely fell off a cliff. They're rated higher than Georgia Tech on this list. Okay, Virginia Tech, even though this is a new regime of James Franklin, right? They obviously kept Brent Pry. We know about the pieces they got: Marcellus Hawkins, Ethan Gronkmeyer, Keyshawn Brown. Right, we know how they're going to look this upcoming year. Still, it's year one in James Franklin. They're rated higher than Georgia Tech, right? So, like, that doesn't make sense. Last year was a debacle for North Carolina, right? They are ranked higher than Georgia Tech in its FPI ranking, right? They have them at 42 and to finish better and with better chances and odds than Georgia Tech, which I'm not really understanding, to be 100% honest with you, right? And some of these teams that are ranked above them have easier schedules. Georgia Tech does not. Georgia Tech has a very tough schedule, so I understand that part. But to be ranked below North Carolina, Virginia Tech, and Florida State, what are we doing? The math's not mathing. It's not adding up. It's not making sense to me. So that part I'm not understanding, right? So again, as you guys can see, number 10 in the ACC, right? Now, when we break down these rankings even more, right, we're going to stay on the ACC side of this thing so you guys can see they're projected to win 5.8 to 6.3 games, right? So basically about 500 is where they're projecting them to go, okay, for Georgia Tech this upcoming season. But they have one of the higher chances to win 6 wins in the conference, in my opinion, at 54.4. Never mind, I lied. Actually, one of the lower ones, right? Which is about a halfway chance of reaching 6 wins this upcoming year, okay? That is what Georgia Tech essentially has, okay? So to me, again, I think it's still a very big underranking, okay? because there's games in there that they're going to be able to go and win, right? And I'm going to talk about the schedule here in a second about games that they can win that can boost them up, okay? Continue to go on. Win the division, right? There is really no division no more. It's just the ACC. To win the conference, they have just a 1.5% chance to do that, right? To win the conference at all, okay? Make the playoffs, 3.3% chance in the conference to make the postseason. You know what I'm saying? This upcoming year for Georgia Tech, right? So slightly better odds than to win the conference, but we know if you win the conference, you get an automatic bid in the CFP playoff, right? Which bowls into your favor, okay? So 0.2% chance to make national championship and a 0.0 chance to win the national championship, right? So to me, the numbers are pretty disrespectful, if I'm honest. Like I said, some of those teams are ranked above them. Doesn't really make sense to me. Clemson is still a major question mark. They are a brand, right? We know about Dabo Swinney. We know what he's done with Clemson, but this team still has question marks at the quarterback spot with Christopher Zena. How good is he? We don't know, right? They got good running backs in the fold. The defense should still be very solid, but we don't know what Clemson is going to be this year. Last year, they had NFL talent up and down that roster, and they won less than 8 games last year, all right? So I don't know how good Clemson is going to be this upcoming season. I just don't, right? I really don't. So for me, it's like it doesn't really make that much sense, right? Now, when we look at this schedule, and we're going to break down the schedule a little bit for GT about what they have going on, right? It's pretty simple for GT. To start the season, as I said before, and I don't want to regurgitate the same point, I think at worst, you have to go 3-1 early on. Whether you lose to Colorado or Tennessee, whatever it is, you need to finish the first quarter of the season of those 12 games. You have to go 3-1, in my humble opinion. If they can do that, they have some winnable games after that. Duke is a winnable game. They have Walker Egan as their quarterback. I know about Nate Shepard. I know about some of the running backs they have. That's going to be a very different looking team. They're not going to be as talented as they were last year. No Cooper Barcade, no Quayshawn Brown. They're all gone. That's a lot to replace for the Duke Blue Devils. That is a winnable game, right? Even the simulation had to lose to Duke. Like, how? How will they lose at home to Duke? Don't see it. Virginia Tech will be one of the toughest games they have this year outside of probably Clemson, right? On the road. Throw Georgia in there too. That would be a tough game because it's midseason, on the road, going to Virginia Tech. That would be a tough game, all right? So I understand that. So let's just say they slip up at Virginia Tech. They go 3-1. At that point, right, you're going to be 4-2, right? Very winnable games after that. Boston College is a winnable game. They've lost all of their talent. They don't have Dylan Lonergan no more, Reed Harris. Like, they lost a lot. Boston College will not be as good this year, okay? So those are winnable games. Pittsburgh, you're going to have to go up there and beat Pitt, right? You got to go get your get back, period. You should not be losing to Pitt after what they did to you, knocking you out of basically CFP, knocking you basically out of the ACC championship game. Go get your get back. That should be a win for Georgia Tech, in my humble opinion. Then it becomes a little bit hard. You have Louisville and Clemson, right? Very tough games, right? But Louisville is at home, right? They play just like you. Run the football, do what it do. I think in that stretch, if you Georgia Tech, you got to go 2-0, period. You got to go 2-0 during that stretch and handle your business. All right? Very tough to do. Strong task, but can be done. And then you play Wake Forest, a less talented team. They got Gio Lopez as the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to be as good. Cool. Then Georgia. Even if you finish the schedule 9-3, you still have a shot to go to the college football playoff because if you handle business, and let's say you have the 2 losses in the ACC, depends. Depends how everything shook out. But let's say you have 1 loss in the ACC, you lost to somebody else that was non-conference. At that point, you have 1 loss, you're at the top of the conference. You can go battle and compete for an ACC crown, right? Regardless of what happens at Georgia. Georgia is like one of those games, it's just like, if you lose, it's okay. If you win, it's going to help your resume. It's going to build your resume even more, right? So if you win that game, you're 10-2, you sit at a pretty good spot, barring everything that happens in college football. We'll see what happens. But you sit in a very good spot if that happens that way, right? And if you beat them, it's like cherry on top because you're already in the ACC title game. Win your game, you're good. If you don't beat Georgia, you're 9-3. Cool. Handle your business. You can get into the CFP at a 10-3 record. Period. That's just what it is. You can get in if you win that final game. Conference championship, automatic bid into the CFP playoff. Period. Right? So I'm not saying it's going to be easy, right? The Louisville-Clemson stretch will be tough. At Virginia Tech will be tough, but 2 of those 3 games are at home. But it starts with them handling business at in the first 4 games of the regular season, 3 of them are at home. You shouldn't slip up to Colorado. If you slip up to Tennessee, okay, but then you should win the next 2. Period. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's very doable for Georgia Tech. Since they're only going to win 6 games off that schedule, I don't agree. I think they can win way more games than just 6 off of that schedule. You know what I'm saying? It is one of the tougher schedules, but they have what it takes to do it. This team is a lot better. This defense is a lot better, right? They're a more complete team, in my humble opinion. They're not dependent on one player. They have a whole bunch of players. Now, people are going to have to step up. Georgia Tech has everything they need in order to make some noise this year. So the 6-win projection, I'm going to say no. I told y'all. I think between 9 and 10 they can win potentially this year. Go shock some people. I know people feel like, Georgia Tech's getting a little bit more hype. No, they're not. They're getting hype from people that cover the team. They're getting hype from people that are local reporters that go to Atlanta and cover Georgia Tech consistently. In the national media, Georgia Tech's been disrespected, y'all. It's not even close. They've been overlooked, disrespected. Nobody thinks they're going to be good this year. They think they're going to be trash, right? Or they think they're going to be mediocre average. It's the bottom line. The only ones that are speaking highly is people that cover the program intensely or cover the program closely. Period. That's just what it is. So, to me, I think the 6 wins, I would go 75, 80% they could do. If you want to go win the conference, I would give them a 5 to 10% chance. It's doable. It's going to be more difficult. Chance to make the playoffs, I would go 5 to 10%, right? At that point, national championship, I would go 1 to 2%. Win the national championship, probably around that same kind of thing, okay? If I had to do it. I think this could be a playoff team, but we're going to find out how good this offense can be and if this defense is taking a step forward. They got the talent to do it. Now it's just putting it out on the field. But I think 48 is disrespectful. I would say like a bit disrespectful. That's disrespectful. Georgia Tech is not a number 48 ranked team. They are much, much better than that. Got to put some respect on their name. It's the bottom line. So that's my thoughts. 48 is disrespectful. Got to do better. Don't like their ranking. I think they are better than, to me, they're definitely better than a bunch of those teams that are above them. They're better than Florida State. I think they're better than NC State. I think they're better than Wake Forest. I think they're better than Duke. And they're better than North Carolina. Right now, I would say Georgia Tech is probably top 5, top 16 in the ACC. With what I've seen, what I know, I would put them in that category. They could be much better than that, but they're definitely not number 10. Definitely not. They're definitely rolling into that top 5. It's going to be fun. So interesting to see what happens this year. Try to comment down below your thoughts on where Georgia Tech is ranked in the ESPN FPI. Is it a fair ranking or is it an unfair ranking? Let me know down in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, have the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have more content coming out. Thank you guys for voting as well on the latest poll. Much love and appreciate you guys always tuning in. And remember, as always, peace and love.